تيجي بآخر البال. كل الرجال
Welcome back, and moving on to our second segment for today. Talking about President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi's inauguration of a number of projects belonging to the General Authority for Investment and also the free zones. And we have seen that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi gave his directives to provide all needed factors for boosting the country's productive capabilities in governmental, public and private sectors. To discuss this in more details in the upcoming economic conference, over the phone we have Dr. Youmn Hamaki, Professor of Economics at Shams University. Hello.
Good morning, Nasha.
Hello.
Hello.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, Nasha.
So first of all, I'm talking about Egypt aiming to increase exports to 100 billion US dollars. And I remember we talked about this many times. And now we can see collaboration among all sectors working for this. And we have an upcoming conference taking place in which we are going to find out more about all what is related to the projects and the economic factors facing the private sector, the public sector, removing all obstacles to improve the collaboration among all sectors. How do you see this?
Yes, this is very important. It's a very important message to investors, foreign investors, as well as Egyptian and Arab investors, that there is a tendency from President and the government to facilitate, the investment environment in order to increase the percentage and the share of the private sector to generate GDP and to enhance productive capabilities in Egypt. I believe that by following from our president the environment of investment and talking about all the obstacles that may hinder attracting foreign investment, this is a very important step, taking into consideration that for the first time we have a time limit, 2 months, as specified by the president, 2 months in order to address all the obstacles that may prevent investors from coming to Egypt, especially this period. It's it's a very important period. The world is suffering with the Russian-Ukrainian war, and the area, the Middle East, is quite full of challenges. Here, Egypt can present a very important, location for investment, taking into consideration also what's happening in Asia and the conflict and the value chain, the disruption in the value chain. All these variables and the international environment is putting Egypt in a very special position to attract foreign investment. And I believe that the mega projects that happened during the last period may enable more and more opportunities of very profitable, taking into consideration nowadays that we are concentrating on the industrial as well as the agriculture and information technology. A lot of possibilities, are existing. And for me as economists, we have a lot of studies proving that, there are very good potentialities regarding the industrial sector. And from here it comes the importance to address all the obstacles. And I believe that it started by the Central Bank of Egypt, how to facilitate and ease, in cooperation with the government, all the procedures for facilitating importation and addressing the problems in customs. I believe this can be represented as a very important obstacle that happened during the last month. And this is proving that we are tackling the problems confronting investors in a very efficient and fast speed.
Hello?
Yes?
Yes, doctor? So, you can hear me, right?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so doctor, talking also about facing all the challenges facing the local investors in Egypt and sitting, speaking or talking together frankly, putting the challenges they are facing and different means of solving all these obstacles can also be a direct message to attract more investments. How do you see this point?
Yes, I agree with you, Nashwa, because when you have problems and obstacles confronting Egyptian investors in Egypt here, this is, a very bad message for foreign investors. They are not coming since your investors are suffering. And from here it comes that you have to address all obstacles confronting all types of investment. And I believe that, the main goal of our government is to increase the participation of the private sector from 35% into 65%. And this is quite important for the coming period because we cannot make any economic development without a real participation of the private sector. And I would like to add here, the role of small business. We are talking about the role of small business, yet they are not participating quite well, despite all the initiatives that have been taken during the last period. Still, small business are not contributing to generate GDP in Egypt. And I believe that if we address properly and activate the role of small business and address the problems confronting the informal sector, all this can make a very important, momentum for the private sector to proceed, and taking that into consideration may, attract quite well foreign investors.
Doctor, the President inaugurated via video conference 2 free zones in Qalyubiya's Banha and the Kahlaya's Meat Ghamr that belong to the GAFI. So tell me more the importance of this and its impact on the Egyptian economy, taking into consideration, of course, how important it is to have such free zones for different products.
Suez Canal zone is a very important zone, and we are quite taking care to, attract investment into this area. This is, as a location, taking into consideration international trade, and we have a special economic zone in which we can offer investors, very good incentives to come. I believe that we have a lot of potentialities, and nowadays we have a plan in order to have Suez Canal area as a center for economic activities so that we can attract foreign investors into different, productive sectors and productive activities for, increasing the local content of the industrial sector, as well as improving the competitiveness of our industrial sector production.
Also, Doctor, the President made it clear that the private sector's contribution to the Egyptian economy is not less than 75%. And we are looking forward to increase also the participation of the private sector in Egypt to boost economy, and talking also how can we take benefit in this, especially when it comes to preparation of our new leaders or the human resources in general that are working in all these mega projects and projects taking place across the country.
This is a very important topic to be addressed, and actually it needs more effort from us to address human resources in Egypt. We have a wealth, Nashwa, from human resources. Still, we are not using these human resources efficiently. And I believe by, having a strategy for training and recruitment all around Egypt, taking into consideration, the skills that are needed in the labor market, I believe this could help a lot to support and attract investment.
I think we lost Dr. Youmn, but I think she will be back to us to continue talking about all the economic developments taking place and the importance of this economic forum that will take place very soon, because we talked a lot about many challenges that we are facing and the way Egypt was able to face all the economic challenges we are facing. Actually, this is not only in Egypt, but it is a global economic challenges that we are facing. Egypt proved to have a very good and strong economic stability to be able to face all these challenges. So the fact that we are going to have such an economic conference or forum to take place, bringing all sectors sitting on the table, discussing their challenges, their obstacles, and all tools and methods that can be adopted by the Egyptian government to facilitate all these obstacles, or to remove all these obstacles and facilitate all the procedures that they need to achieve and work more in order to boost the Egyptian economy. Let me say also that the president himself was talking also about how important it is when we talk about the participation of the private sector, and also the participation of the private sector along with the public sector when it comes to some of the mega projects taking place here in Egypt. So of course the collaboration of all sectors together definitely will boost the Egyptian economy on all levels. Moving on to a quick break, then we'll be back.
مصر فيها 100 مليون. مصر كمان مساحتها 1,000,000 كيلومتر مربع. بس في حجم ضخم جدا من الأراضي احنا مش عايشين عليه.